Gibiate is a little weird because I'm not fully sure what its name is. Mal lists it as Gibiate, and so does like Crunchyroll and stuff like that. But the katakana says Gibieto, so I don't know what the name of this is. But a samurai, ninja, and warrior monk time travel from varying points in the Warring States period to the 2030s, where humanity is mostly extinct because of a virus that turns people into monsters. It follows a group of survivors as they travel with a doctor who is, he claims, trying to cure the disease, and every episode starts with an interview of one of the casts of characters. So you get to know everyone involved in this. Now, if commenters are to be believed, this is the worst anime ever of all time. And if I might make a little bit of a tangent here, I believe that a major contributing factor to this is that this came out during the pandemic. People were stuck at home, and it has an abnormally high amount of viewers for what should be a lesser-known seasonal show. And a lot of people are afraid to watch older anime. So I think what happened with this is that people decided to watch this because it was available and they had nothing else going on. And I think it was a lot of people's first experience dumpster diving, and I think they just got the trash all over them, and they somehow thought that this is as far as the dumpster goes. But no, there are way worse anime than this piece of crap. But let's be clear here, this is still a shockingly bad anime. For the most of this show, I actually would have expected it to have hovered around a 5. You can see the score, we're not going to pretend. But then it gradually gets worse as it goes on, and before it just completely shits the bed. So there's quite a few things wrong with this. So many people talk about the animation and the low quality CG, and does it look like complete shit? Absolutely. Are the character designs all pretty generic? Sure. Except for, I would say, the female lead and the cop girl, who look less generic. But a lot of this looks very generic. A lot of the characters and their personalities are pretty generic. And a lot of the monsters aren't particularly aesthetically pleasing. There's huge aesthetic problems for this, basically. The fight scenes overflow the show. There's so many action scenes, and they're all very uninteresting. They're very static. There's not a lot of back and forth, and sometimes the show just kind of gives up on them, and then we just cut to the aftermath, and you don't even get to see the action scenes, which frankly I'm okay with, because as established, the action scenes kind of suck in this. The major pull of this is that it's a very heavily character-focused show, and I think that's probably where it falls off the hardest for me, is because I never really felt much attachment to the characters. Each character had a sort of focus on their own individual arcs, and they all pretty much got them. And then once they were done with that arc, they were summarily executed, just cut out of the story entirely, which is some real grade A amateur writing bullshit on that one. But more than that, the characters don't really have much of a association with each other, don't really have much of a reason to stick together other than they're trying to cure the virus. And so what ends up happening is that the characters interact inside of their own arcs and the characters related to themselves, but they don't have a greater interaction throughout the group. And never is this more apparent than towards the end, where you get to see flashbacks of the group together, and it's just them sitting around in a camper, because ultimately nothing really happens in this show. This is a 12-episode show with about 4 episodes worth of plot line. So much of this is the group just travels through a camper or gets attacked by monsters, and then that's all that happens. Occasionally we get interspersed flashbacks from the characters who are from the previous time periods who time traveled, and don't think I'm gonna ignore this. At one point, there's some real revisionist history where they claim that the samurai left Korea during the invasion and they never settled the invasion, which is a real funny way of saying Korea kicked Japan's ass and they fled with their fucking tail between their legs. Ultimately, the show pretty much fails on every level, but it was never particularly offensive. That was until the penultimate episode, where suddenly out of nowhere, aliens, and then everyone dies. I've never seen a show go so quick. First off, the show wasn't good to that point, right? But I've never seen a show that was already bad just drive itself off a cliff. It was truly an impressive train wreck. Twitch and Discord in the description. I've been Sacrobolic, your Envoy of Hope. Bye-bye.